Hello everyone, I'm Danielle Palli, and today I am delighted to be joined by Lady Lyric of Skinny Leopard Media. Today, Lady Lyric is joining us from the Skinny Leopard Manor. Lady Lyric, I'm so delighted to have you here today.
Thank you, Danielle. It's wonderful to chat with such a prolific author as yourself. I do so enjoy the witty banter in your books.
You know, as a book and creativity coach, one thing that comes up a lot with new clients is fear. They may have parts of a book written, but are overwhelmed at the ambiguity of getting it from a document to a published book.
Yes.
And I try to reassure them, I'll walk alongside them through the process. But I wonder if you might give listeners a high-level overview of what they can expect as a budding indie author.
Absolutely. And I love what you said, Danielle, about walking alongside someone. That's exactly my approach as well. When I assist a new author in publishing, my job is to make the author feel at ease and take each step one at a time, so the process is orderly and manageable. Sometimes people get overwhelmed at the end goal, but we break it down into small steps, don't we? And while the final goal may feel insurmountable, small steps feel achievable. The new author will provide a Word document, and from that, we can determine what type of editing they need. Then the edited manuscript is formatted into the style they prefer. A cover is designed, and the files are converted into the types required for the publishing sites. And then, quickly, they become a published author.
Exactly, and those small successes along the way keep us motivated, and before you know it, you're a published author. So when clients come to me, they're often seeking developmental editing. Maybe they have part of a manuscript, but not the whole thing, and they need help with the structure of it, perhaps voicing the characters, help with dialogue, descriptions, and just the pacing. And we work together to move things around and change and edit throughout the process to help them revise and create a final draft. But that's not the end of the editing process, is it?
It certainly isn't. There are many different types and stages of editing, as you well know. In developmental editing, you are asking, does the book work? With line editing, you are asking, is the writing strong? With copy editing, you make sure it is correct. And with proofreading, you make sure it is clean and ready to publish, with no grammar or spelling errors and no typos. So much of what you need depends on your writing skills and also your budget.
It's funny. I sometimes get asked, do I really need an editor? And while I know budget is a concern, I feel that at minimum, a person should proof as well as using an AI tool, Grammarly, ProWriting Aid. They might use Claude or ChatGPT, but putting some privacy guidelines so their work is not out there or used to train the trainer model. We'll talk about that in another video. But I think they need at least one outside copy editor to review it, at least. If they can follow up with proofing, even better. So I would say at least they do the best they can editing, get a copy editor, and follow up with proofing. So after that, their manuscript is ready to go. What happens next?
This is the exciting part. Depending on the type of book, be it fiction or non-fiction, creativity comes into play with deciding on a style for headings and paragraphs, deciding if images are to be used, and how the print book and eBook will physically look. The cover, which is one of the most important elements which offers readers the first impression of the book, must be designed with the genre in mind.
Now, when I first began writing books, I would hire an artist or a designer for the cover, then used Canva or other software. And I'd started creating my own cover, and with your help, Lady Lyric, that was enough. Can you talk about two things? What makes a good cover, and how to use AI, and how is AI changing the way we create book covers?
A cover needs to communicate information about your book in what will be reduced to a small thumbnail on retail sites. The colors, the font, the images. Whether there is a subtitle or not, all show a potential reader clues as to what your book is about. It needs to be consistent with your genre, so that a potential reader knows within seconds if it is something to look at more closely and click on it. I absolutely love using AI for covers. However, the images must be 300 dpi, so in the majority of circumstances, they will require the use of an upscaling program.
Your information is so helpful. So, after you format the manuscript for ebook and print, I know you create different file formats for Amazon and greater distribution. Can you share where a person's book goes once it's published?
An author will choose whether to publish their book on Ingram Spark, which is the largest book distributor in the world, or with kdp.amazon, which is the largest book retailer in the world, or do a combination of both. Doing both seems to have the most benefit to reach the widest audience, but in some cases requires using two different ISBNs, which costs more.
Lady Lyric, you've provided a wealth of information today. I'm hopeful we can talk again soon to share the next steps after publication, such as book marketing. I'd also love to dive into how to use AI as an assist for writing, but not AI-generated content and what's the difference. But for today, can you share how authors can get in touch with you and your social media presence so they can follow you for more great tips?
You can reach me through my website at skinnyleopardmedia.com or follow me on Instagram at AskTheLeopard. Thank you so much for having me, Danielle. Now, I'm off to high tea at the Manor to discuss books with the charming Professor Paws, a distinguished literary critic and fellow leopard.
Thank you so much.